We're following breaking news this afternoon because the newest head hog is making his way to the Hill. Arkansas's John Calipari has been named the 14th head coach of the men's basketball program today.
Yeah, big news, Meredith. We're going to take a live look. Drake Field, Coach Cal's plane just landed there. Now, the university confirmed this morning that he signed a 5-year contract with a starting salary of about $7 million a season. Coach Cal, after he's done here, we're told he's going to be headed to Bud Walton Arena. Well, he will be introduced to fans tonight.
Yeah, such a big deal. A great hire for Arkansas. Coach Muss left last week. He's out at USC now, back on the West Coast where he spent a lot of time in his life. So a place he wanted to be. Now you bring in one of the biggest names in college basketball, John Calipari, to the Hill and see what he can do with the Razorbacks.
Yeah, when you look at the formula that Musselman used, a lot of one and done, a lot of lottery draft, first round draft picks. That is, if you will, stealing a page from what John Calipari did for years at both Kentucky and Memphis. So yes, when you talk about trying to find someone of equal stature and charisma, he seems to check all of those boxes, and I know Razorback Nation is pretty excited today.
Oh, absolutely. Bringing a new energy to the program. We were told there was a plane delay due to weather, but Coach Cal's plane is landing now, so we'll keep this shot up as we get ready to see his plane make its way in and see him step off in Fayetteville for the first time since being announced as the men's basketball new head coach. Like you said, he's one of those guys who can produce big-time players, and he's going to have to recruit big-time players here to Arkansas because right now he's coming in with an empty roster. Arkansas had the losing season with Coach Muss this past year, the first one since 2010 and the first one in Coach Muss's career as a head coach in college basketball. So looking for a little bit of a revamp. Coach Cal is a guy that can bring in some big talent, likely with him from Kentucky, and just really have a chance to rebuild this roster, build the team he's looking to get this season.
Yeah, think about what's happened in the last few years with the transfer portal. And you bring in a coach like Calipari with a roster that is virtually empty. So everyone that he's going to want to bring in is going to be his guys.
Yep.
He can build a team from scratch, essentially, and try to bring in the players and the talent. And think about this, the players that across the country, any program, they just enter the transfer portal. You know what they might be thinking? Arkansas seems like a pretty good destination all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's bringing a big-time name like him to the Hill really just opens everything up, especially like you said, completely empty roster. So he's going to get the guys that he wants to come here, build the team that he wants, and have the success that he wants to have here. It
makes you wonder, the players from Arkansas, like Tremont Mark, that enter the transfer portal. Would those guys maybe want to come back now?
Are they coming back? What did they do?
Or about the guys that had committed to Kentucky or are on Kentucky's roster right now. How many will Calipari be bringing over from that program to Arkansas? We will see a lot of changes with the roster with Coach Cal coming in, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely just an exciting time. I mean, no telling what he can do here. Obviously, he has had great success. He's one of the best in college basketball, the winningest coach right now in the game. So, you know, he's going to bring that to the Hill, and that's what fans are excited about. You see everybody lined up there waiting for his arrival. The band, the cheer squad, just fans. Everybody has piled in here, and you know they're going to carry that over to Bud Walton when he's actually introduced. So having this sort of warm welcome really just shows him what he's getting into with Razorback Nation and what he can look forward to.
Yes, they are rolling out the red carpet for him there, and you could just see people so excited to welcome him. He's going to get quite the welcome once that he gets off the plane into XNA, or Drake Field, I should say, not XNA. But yeah, it's quite impressive to see, and you know, not one for, you know, setting the mood, but there's been a dark cloud kind of hanging over the program since Musselman left, and maybe today with the low clouds that we're seeing today, maybe a sign that they will be clearing.
Yeah.
I know Darby says the weekend's going to be looking nice, and I know that fans are excited when that dark cloud now moves away and they can start looking to the future. There really could not have been a better replacement as far as name recognition, as far as what he does with recruiting. I mean, he's won the big one, and that was kind of the thing with Musselman. He couldn't quite get over the hump. He had, what, the 2 Elite Eights in a row, and then a Sweet 16, missed the tournament this year. But Calipari, he's been to, what is it, 6 Final Fours?
Yeah.
And he's won the big one. And there we go.
Here he comes. Stepping off the plane, open the door, get him out here to Razorback Nation. Let him see him for the first time. Let's see. get some of the crew coming out there, and then we'll see Coach Cal making his way off this plane as well.
So we got some photographers, maybe some staffers, kind of part of his entourage. The build up to this.
It's been mounting.
But you could see he's getting ready to step off the plane onto the tarmac.
Have those umbrellas ready. Mascots out there ready to go. Keep them safe and dry. Get them in.
Do you think he's going to be wearing red?
Oh, let's hope so.
I was hoping
got his Razorback red on.
Yeah, maybe gave him some Arkansas swag before he got out of the plane. That would have been nice, but I'm sure if he's not, he will be later on tonight.
Oh, very soon, yeah. Have to be. Got to rock the red today.
So when he goes to Bud Walton later tonight, fans are going to be lining up there as well to get in. Can you imagine the reception and what that place is going to be rocking? It's going to be like NCAA tournament environment just with the announcement of a new coach.
I mean, yeah, based on what we're seeing here at Drake Field and the crowd that's built up here, you can only imagine with however many can pack into the Palace on the Hill. They definitely are going to be there, want to be a part of this. It's a historic hire. So, I mean, if you can be in that building, that's something you're going to talk about for a long time.
It will be the place to be tonight, no doubt. Standing room only, I would say. And I'm sure they have something big planned. I'm very interested to hear what he has to say about, not only why he chose Arkansas, but, you heard Eric Musselman talking last week about when Bud Walton's packed out. It is one of the best college basketball environments in the country, and that no doubt was one of the reasons why Coach Cal is coming here.
Absolutely. He's talked about in the past what Bud Walton is like when it's rocking during a basketball game and what it's like to be even Kentucky coming in. He talked about how tough of an environment that is, even with, the best team, one of the best teams in the SEC. So now being on the opposite side of that and having a place that can be, just as crazy and loud as Rupp Arena will be a huge plus for Coach Cal. And this looks like we might be getting Miss Calipari coming off the plane there. Looks like she's got a basketball
umbrella. There he is,
umbrella.
and he's wearing red.
There he is. Got his Razorback shirt on and ready to roll.
The logo and everything. He is ready.
Get him covered up and walk him in to see all the fans waiting for him, waiting to cheer him on, give him an extremely warm welcome there at Drake Field. First time touching down in Fayetteville since being announced as the Razorbacks' newest men's basketball head coach.
Quite the entourage.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait when they strike up the band here in just a few moments.
Get the hog call.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us now, this is Drake Field, the new Arkansas men's head basketball coach, John Calipari, about to walk through the doors and be greeted by Razorback fans and the band.
All right, here we go. They're waiting. They've got the band going, ready to get him inside.
There's the music.
It's packed in there.
Fight songs playing. John Calipari has arrived.
All right, here we go. Fans getting their first look at John Calipari in a Razorback polo, and they're ready for it. He's excited for it, giving high fives.
See all the cell phones out there right now.
Yeah.
Everyone capturing this moment, the excitement, the smiles. You see the pom-poms, all the camera flashes. You got the cheerleaders, you got the band. This was truly the way to do it.
Yeah, like you said, red carpet welcome, warm welcome, getting him in here and ready to go and just get to work on this program. He's got a lot of work to do, but like we've said, he's one of the best in the business, so no doubt he can come up with the team that he wants and have the success that he wants here at Arkansas, backed by Razorback Nation, who's definitely, you can already tell, he's got that support behind him, so just imagine when the season starts.
He definitely has the support behind him. I'm so excited to see what Bud Walton looks like tonight. I'm very excited to see how he starts assembling this roster. The ESPN analyst you spoke to yesterday saying hopeful that get back to playing that Calipari hard-nosed defensive style that the Razorbacks saw success with when they were playing with that under Coach Musselman that got them to those 2 Elite Eights in a Sweet 16.
Yeah, I know a lot of people had some concerns when the roster started dwindling down after Musselman left, but like we've said time and time again, a guy like Coach Cal coming in is the best option you could have had for somebody to come in with a blank slate and rebuild this team to the team that he wants it to be. And so really kind of the sky's the limit for what Coach Cal can do, not only in the first year, but, just throughout this contract that he's got. It's a 5-year contract that was signed today. So getting him in the car there, probably headed over to campus, getting ready to make his introduction in Bud Walton. That'll happen at 6 o'clock. It is open to the public. Doors open at 5. So that's where we'll be, and I'm sure much of Razorback Nation and everybody else in town. I mean, that's the place to be. Like you said, Fayetteville, Bud Walton, be there.
Yes, and there could be some rain tonight, though. So Razorback fans, if you want to go to Bud Walton tonight, as Meredith said, doors open at 5, starts at 6. Bring your umbrella because you might have to wait in line. I imagine some people might already even be lined up hours before that to try to get the best seats in the house.
Yes.
As we see Calipari's convoy lining up to head out of Drake Field as they get ready to introduce him tonight. And talking a little bit more about that roster, having no scholarship players on the team right now, I wonder how much that played a role in his decision to come here, in that he essentially gets creative control of that roster. He doesn't have to worry about playing with another coach's players. He gets to bring in all the people that he wants to bring in. And he's really going to get his pick of the litter now with the changes we've seen to the transfer portal. I bet there are quite a few blue chip college basketball players that are watching today and very interested to see how John Calipari is going to build this new Hog roster.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing him, get his introduction, take the stage, and hear what he has to say about coming to Fayetteville and why this was the choice he wanted to make. Obviously, it's a big time get for Arkansas, but why did he want to come to Arkansas? And you talk about having an empty roster, he can build it. We talked to ESPN analyst Jimmy Dykes yesterday, and he said, I think it's a positive. He gets to do what he wants with this team, how he wants, bring in the players that he wants. He doesn't have to deal with, kind of that overturn of some of those guys still being there from the Musselman era. But, like you said, with the portal, we have Razorbacks who are in there now, but there's a chance, they get with Coach Cal and maybe they come back. Maybe we see some of those guys. You never know. The portal, anything can happen. And with a guy like Calipari being the new head coach, he's going to bring in those stars. Yeah,
so much can happen between now and the start of next basketball season. It really is just sky's the limit when it comes to that. And, you also have to take into account the relationship he had at Kentucky had kind of soured with the fans. So this is maybe not just a fresh start for the Razorback basketball program, but a fresh start for Coach Cal as well. Maybe a rejuvenation of his already Hall of Fame career.
Absolutely. And there he is off to campus right now, headed to Bud Walton, I would assume, or somewhere near there, getting ready for the big introduction. A party at the Palace tonight for sure. Again, it is open to the public. Doors open at 5, so, get there as early as you can because, like you said, it's going to be the place to be. You want to get those good seats so you can see everything, get those videos, and have it ready to go. But for anybody that can't make it, we are going to stream it here on 4029, so stay tuned with us. We'll have it all right here. It starts at 6.
Yes, we're going to have complete coverage of everything Coach Cal related tonight, 5, 6, 9, and 10, 4029tv.com, and the free app, and of course, in Hog Wild Sports.
There you go. Well, that'll do it for us. We'll send you back to Tamron Hall, and we'll have more on Coach Cal later tonight.